Chigweave, August K. Metalpolita, it's Mr. Drolling, and we'll took 'em all. How are you, friends, peoples? It's me, the Wren, back again for another interesting topic of absurdities. Tonight's chat will be about ritual attire, robes, things that pagans wear for ritual, or in general, but mainly ritual attire. What do you guys wear for ritual, huh? What do you wear for ritual? Speaking of clothes, it's getting warm in here. Jesus, I should get naked. I'm really not going to get naked. We should. Should get naked right now. Censorship. Oh, it's so fun. So it's very interesting where this comes from. This idea that in paganism we have to dress up to perform these rituals. Where does this come from? Have you ever given it any thought? I have some ideas. Theories, ideas. Having a moment. Alrighty. So, in this brand of modern paganism, neo-paganism, Wicca, Druidry, neo-Druid stuff, all sorts of traditions here, people celebrate rituals in ritual attire. Why? Well, it could be argued that you're doing something special. You're doing something not mundane anymore. And by doing so, part of donning garb, you change the focus, you change the mindset by getting dressed before the ritual. In a way, it's like a uniform. I mean, when you graduate, there's cap and gown. If you're a judge, you have your robes, your habit. If you're clergy, you have an attire that you wear. If you're an officer, you wear a uniform. If you're in the martial arts, often you have to wear a gi. If you're an Irish dancer, you have a cultural, well, it could be argued cultural. You have something that you wear for that. You have your different dresses and what have you. If you march with some sort of Highland regiment, it's like you have to wear the colors of that marching band. You're wearing that tartan. You're wearing their colors. That's your uniform. Albeit that's cultural. And if you know me by now, that's the angle I take. Culture. I've seen some pretty bizarre things. Over the years. I mean, I would prefer to see people in skyclad. I don't care of your age, your gender. I don't care how big or small you are. I would prefer to see people skyclad than half naked furries running around. Okay. But hey, that's their thing. That's when in Rome kind of thing. If you're at that type of event and you know those things are going to happen, you just got to be prepared for that. I'm not against it. I'd rather see just, regular naked people running around than people naked, half naked animal peoples. Fun parties though. Anyway, in donning something for ritual, you do change the mindset. You pre-preparing in a way for something sacred, something special to you. We do know that in times past, our ancestors, if they were in the means of having some other different clothes to wear, they would wear something new, clean, or fresh. If visitors were coming from the next tribe over, of course it was a means of showing off. You would put your best on. You would polish the things up. You would tidy up. You'd clean up. You would show them your clean home. Look at how well we're doing. So, in this modern context, when we wear something for ritual in paganism, oftentimes I see, here we go. Let's take the Druid route. We see robes. We see the long white robes. I'm going to keep bringing this up repetitively. But we see robes. We see cloaks with hoods on them, and this style of outfit is very draws upon a Middle Eastern root, but it's Christian. It's a very Christian style of garb. Especially if you're doing it with the whole very long monk style with that's not a capulet, it's not a tabard. What's the terminology? It's not a cowl either. I guess it would be a mantle. It would be a hooded mantle. Or any tabards. Pretty much if you look at how Obad or ADF dresses, or any of the modern druids, hell, just get on Google and type in druid robes, and you're not going to see anything remotely close to what druids wore. Even funnier, get on eBay and type in druid robes. And you'll see all this fantasy wear. These long billowing sleeves that I'll remind you start on fire quite fast. Now, whatever you want to wear, I'm not going to tell you, don't wear that. But I would like you at least to approach it. Oh, excuse me, I need more hot chocolate. Approach it from the angle of culture. Please. Let it haul. Let it haul. Please. So, A good way you can approach, and I'm speaking here like on, I'll speak it just simply on behalf of Celtic paganism on this aspect right now. If you are celebrating the culture, the heritage, and these festivals, and all these things that go along with that tradition of paganism, please do it by looking to the culture and seeing what they wore, seeing what they still kind of wear. So, what could you wear? Could you not wear a kilt? You could wear a kilt. You could wear a modern kilt, a great kilt, the belted plaid. It stands to be a cultural type of garment. You don't necessarily need to belong or have Scottish roots to wear certain tartans. I mean, some would argue you do and you don't, but they have enough universal ones now that you won't offend anybody by wearing them. I wear clan hay. Because I have Scottish roots that belong to that clan. My sept belongs to that clan. My clan. I got some clan hay right over here. So, if you're going to celebrate the culture, you're going to celebrate the faith of this culture, you're doing everything you can to be a part of the culture, then why not have, something, I wear a torque or a ring necklace or some other form of jewelry. If you enjoy getting dressed up, excuse me, my nose is always itching when I do videos for you guys. Seems like every video, I got a nose itch. I must kiss lots of fools. Now, a little bit of history of the modern kilt. I don't know if I should start at the beginning or start now. I'll start now. We have, a fly plaid that, goes on your shoulder, and, pipers sometimes wear it. You'd see most people wearing it in formal events, especially weddings. And then you'd have your standard kilt, which is generally about, a good chunk of money if you're getting a nice one. Mine was, my package deal was a little bit over $1,000, but I got it for my wedding. So you have your modern kilt. It goes back to an earlier form of the kilt, and that form of the kilt goes back to an earlier form of the kilt, all the way back to when it was a long piece of fabric that you would pleat by hand and just belt it and throw it over the shoulder. There's various ways. If you really want to get into this, let me know. There's various ways to wear a great kilt. I'm sure you've all seen, Braveheart or Rob Roy or Outlander or something like that, where they have styles of that 1700s, early 1700s. Yeah, late too. But where does the origin of the kilt come from? Do you know? Well, we have an English word that we use all the time. Oh, that kid's being a brat. Oh, bratty kids over there. Brat, in our language, comes from Ngualiga, brought, which is a cloak. How it got tied to, kids causing a ruckus, I'm not exactly sure. The original brought cloak was the jacket. It was the covering. It was your shelter against, inclement weather. Always made of 100% wool, and it's not necessarily a cloak, but more like a very large blanket, often highly decorated, depending on the time period. Now, if we're talking Iron Age, we're talking, it could have had things like feathers attached to it, or, because they did have mantles or feathered cloaks. I think that movie with Sam Neill, when he played Merlin, had a decent example of what a feathered cloak would look like. But the point is your brought, your cloak, which was never hooded. There are some hooded examples, but for the most part, largely like 98%, all cloaks were squared or largely rectangled. Sometimes fringed. But it was your most prized possession because you would wear a cloak often that showed your status, sometimes even like beyond your means. You would buy like the best you could afford, and it kind of showed off like in your daily life. Like even if you weren't wearing it, see, I'm just got like this piece just draped over me. A chieftain, his cloak would not be far away. If it wasn't wearing it or draped, it would be like over the, over next to him or off of the side of a chair or what have you. It was a status symbol. But it was also a very practical, utilitarian item. Wool retains 70 to 80% at least warmth, even while soaking wet. It is the only fiber we have not been able to successfully synthesize to remake, given all of its benefits. I mean, there's still blankets from like World War I floating around out there that are in perfect condition. If you take care of it and you know how to treat wool, it'll outlive you. Now, I really don't want to get into the whole like tartan thing with the history of that and modern ancient colors, weathered colors, hunting colors. If you really want me to do a video about just modern kilts, and when I say modern, I mean 1700s till now, let me know. I'll do a video on that specifically. But this is more of pagan clothing for ritual attire. And as we spiral up the mountain, not really having a point, we're on the topic right now of the brat, the cloak. It is something all people could wear. And if you want to, you could use the same solid piece of solid color to, show that you stand together, or you could have a tartan made, or you could use a tartan and change it. Some groups find a universal tartan that they all agree on, and then what they do is they change it by altering it, by adding, another color to it, or a band of fabric towards the bottom, or even some threads to show that, this version is now, they're using that. So you could do that, or everybody could wear their own family stuff. Or mainly, if you have a group that's all family, you would be wearing your stuff. And if people come in and out, there's, come to your group and they linger, they last, they stay with the group. You might choose to gift them adopt them into your family by giving them your colors. Much like a husband does to a wife at a wedding. So, kilts during ritual. I'm all for it. I would rather see somebody rocking a sport kilt, pair of sandals, t-shirt, cap, covered in tattoos, have a torque on, any day of the week. Because I can look at that, like, oh, I automatically can identify, like, oh, he's part of that culture. Just like you would if someone was wearing lederhosen, or, some other cultures, it's not a costume. It's a cultural uniform in a way. I would rather see that and people wearing tartans and, looking like quite the scene from afar, like at a local park or what have you, than people standing around in robes. It just doesn't make any sense. What do we really know about robes? Well, give me a minute. I've covered some of this in another video. But I wanted to do ritual attire in one video. I think it deserves it. We feel the need to get dressed up because we're doing something special. We're doing something sacred. We're not doing something that's every day. Our ancestors very well wore what they had on. For the most part, they just attended. If they could change, they probably did. Well, people running the ritual probably wore something special. Bear skins, wolf skins, feathers. I mentioned that there was a feathered mantle. We have reference of different types of divination with the bull hide, tarfish. There's lots of stuff in the lore that talks about, in detail, the colors and what people were wearing and what their jewelry was like. It's often very descriptive. To wear one color, that was like putting you at the status of like people that were slave. So you're wearing all white. You got your all white robes on. Not in Ireland. Not in Scotland. And I'm pretty sure not in ancient Gaul either. And when I say white, we're talking an off-white, a natural, unbleached linen. Look that up. natural organic unbleached linen. Look that color up and tell me how white that looks to you. It's more like that. But they had white. It was not bleached white. It's not this hospital white. They had white. They had purple. You know, you could picture like a high king or very important chieftain. He would have colors like red and purple. Purple was never for the people. Purple was always nobility. Purple was always like the highest nobility. It was the hardest color, the most expensive color you could find. And if you could wear a lot of it, you did. It was like Mr. T wearing as much gold as he could. Petit de fou. So if you had a tunic made of all purple, and then you had this crimson red cloak that was variegated or checked or striped or plaid, but not plaid in the way you think of tartan. A little bit different. Even though if you look at some of the finds of the different patterns that were used at Hallstatt in Austria during the Iron Age, look up the thread counts of those. Look at what people were wearing. Look at the cloth that was found in the caves by the people mining the salt. Now, the people mining the salt at Hallstatt in Austria, those people were not upper class, and even they had some pretty ornate patterns, different weaves going on in their linen and in their wool. Flax linen. Look at the color of unbleached and undyed flax linen. It's also like this. It's not white. So if you're putting together some sort of druid garb, like that's also a great topic to discuss. Is, well, we're talking about what do Celtic pagans wear. Well, what would clergy wear? If you're wearing kilts and or other things that express the culture, then what does the clergy wear? You know, should start twirling it. Yeah, see? What would your drury wear? What would a traditional drury wear to separate himself or herself from a bandri, from what modern druids are wearing? Okay? That's a great topic. What could you visualize in your imagination right now, if you know the stories, the lore? How do you picture a traditional druid to look if you know they're not walking about with long white robes on? Warm in here, sorry. That very topic I'm working on. I am trying my best through research and through story to put together something that's a lot more cultural based, that when we do celebrate and feel the need to wear something different, or if I'm doing service for, the community, or for a family, maybe I'm doing a house blessing or something like that, or I'm presiding over like a naming ceremony, I don't want to come across looking like those druids over there. with what they do and what I do is very different. And this pipe is turned to shite. Maybe. Yeah, a little bit. Where are we? How did we get here? What's happening? Now, do you have to get dressed up? Of course not. Do the gods care? Definitely not. They care that you show up. They care that you care. They might not care at all. But your ancestors do. So, we're something new. We're not something clean. If you're a chef, are you going to wear your dirty apron from last night's service the next morning? No. If you're a fellow Freemason, would you attend lodge without wearing your apron? Can you imagine being at lodge with no apron on? Ridiculous, right? If your apron is soiled and dirty, you would not wear that to, to a communication, to a meeting, or to a degree. Nor would you wear your tux if it's disgustingly dirty. But on the topic of white, it is clean, it is fresh, it is new, and I think our main example historically is Pliny the Elder, who was obsessed with esotericism and magic and all things of the occult. His mention of, the druids wearing white and the bull and sacrifice and the cutting of the mistletoe and gold sickle and sixth night of the new moon and yeah, that's, sorry guys, it's not really that accurate. Made up hodgepodge of different cultures going on there. So, you don't have to get dressed up. It's not that important. It's important that you wear something that's comfortable and that's clean. And if possible, try to wear something that's cultural. I don't know what that would be if you are a Greek pagan. You're, maybe... I don't want to stereotype because I don't know. I don't have the insight. Are you wearing togas? I don't know about the different time periods of Greek culture and what they wore for different things, but I'm sure that they wear something cultural. I know, like a lot of the Slavic pagans, they have tunics as well, and the different colors of white and red that they use. And the different types of swastikas and, solar symbols that they use, which is amazing. And I've seen all the women with their beautiful flowers and stuff in their hair, places like Latvia and Lithuania that still have a large population of paganism. It's beautiful. It's amazing to see large droves of people, from grandmothers to granddaughters and dogs running around and babies on the boob and the festivities and the games and people celebrating the culture and people celebrating the ancient faith of the culture. More Gaelic people need to be doing what they're doing in Lithuania and Latvia And the Slavic pagan movement is, a beautiful thing. Now you picture like thousands upon thousands of people getting together from around your country to celebrate these ancient festivals, albeit in somewhat of a modern context, but still having the folk tradition alive. That's what we're aiming for here. Oh, that was a minor crack. It was nice. So if you don't want to wear a kilt, maybe you're more comfortable wearing a certain type of tunic. Okay? You could also take the approach of looking into what the styles of different periods of the Iron Age, from Hallstatt to La Tène, and what time periods and what people were wearing throughout Europe at that time. And you could even do a slash Celtic reenactment, which is very popular overseas. We have like the Civil War kind of thing going on here in America. Revolutionary War, War of 1812. There's the whole colonial American thing going on here. That's kind of our shtick with the whole, reenactment. That's the popular one anyway. Whereas overseas, you find in France, places in Germany, the Isles. I won't say British Isles because that's just not right. But there is reenactment groups out there, Celtic reenactment groups that get together and they do the whole living history, and they fight against the Romans. And so if you're a Celtic group, you could dress in reenactment style with tunics and swords and all the trappings of that, if that's a direction you're considering, instead of wearing a kilt or instead of wearing a t-shirt. But it's not hard. You throw on a plain t-shirt. Don't be a billboard. Don't Flog and Molly. Yeah, great. I like that music too. It's wonderful. Yeah, I love all sorts of different things, but I don't want to be a billboard for them. I don't want to advertise. It's like, I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh, I got that guy figured out. Don't stereotype me. It's not fair. So, you could wear just like something plain, plain t-shirt or a dress shirt. Do I dare say a polo? If you wear a polo and you pop that collar, I'm coming to your circle. I'm going to take that collar and that head right off. Don't do that. Popping your collar, for fuck's sake. Idiots. But yeah, throw a torque on if that's your thing, You want to earn your torque, you want to go through a rite of passage for that, then that's fine. Get some ring necklace, Find some other jewelry. I got none on tonight. I'm naked. Get, a bangle, a bracelet. Wear a Triskele. Put braids in your hair. That's a good one. Grow your hair long. Grow your hair long. Put some braids in your hair. Put some beads in it. Grow your facial hair. It's little things. I can hear Robert right now, scolding me about facial hair because he's always so clean shaven. Sorry, Robert. I'm a savage. It was the Celtic warriors that had, and especially in Gaul, a big mustache like Friedrich Nietzsche. That's how mine gets if I don't trim it every 4 or 5 days. My wife hates my mustache, but I don't care. As long as it's not generally like the soup strainer, walrus, diabetes over the mouth, then she generally doesn't bitch. But when I just let it grow, she fucking hates it. I need a pipe. Oh, that's lovely. Jesus. Yahoo! See, got these wicked pants on. Love them. They're my favorite PJs. Yes, we're killing time tonight, guys. This is 40 minutes already. Yeah. Ritual attire, I think, and this is my opinion, I think serves a valuable experience to celebrating and honoring the tradition of whatever that is that you're taking part in. I don't really know about the whole like Wicca and Coven thing. If they're doing the skyclad thing, that's cool. Yeah, right. And I mean, I've done it. But the whole like robes thing and the if that's their thing, then if that's the custom or the traditions of that group, then it's, you know, you do that. Obad has like, you know, you wear a standard thing, and then like, you know, you would wear a tabard if you're a bard that's blue. Ovate would be green, and then you're a druid, you just wear white, or you wear white on white or off white or things like that. And if you're with that group, there's no, you don't have to dress that way in that group. They don't say you have to do this. That's just kind of like their practice, their dress code in a way. But it's not mandatory. And I've been to quite a few Obad rituals, both here stateside and overseas, where people just wore what they wanted. And I did as well. I wore what I wanted. I mean, I saw a beautiful woman who had these long blonde dreadlocks, a tank top that seemed a little bit too tight, and these pants that were like shaggy cowhide. That was awesome. You know, tattoos and big gauged ears, and yeah, I'd stare at that all day long versus, you know, these Princess Leia rotary type 1700s bastardized druids gathering at stone circles thinking they're celebrating druidry. Had to say it. Had to say it. I get it. You go to the stone circles. Why? Because they're old. They predate Christianity. They know, you know, it's a part of your ancestors. Okay, I can greatly appreciate that. But to connect it with the Iron Age, to connect it with druids, that's where you kind of lose me. I mean, you can be a modern druid and of any tradition. Even in CR or Shintrek, you can go to a stone circle. You can go there to honor your ancestors. You can go there to just be at peace, or just to, you know, have a picnic. You can go there for various reasons. It doesn't have to be for ritual. I'm not against the whole going to Neolithic sites. I'm against them being connected to druids. Only druids, you know? The Neolithic culture really doesn't have much to do with druids. But that's what you see. You see these people with long white robes wandering about Neolithic sites, calling it druidry. I did a blog. I should try to pull up the blog post about the best dressed druids and blah blah blah. I've talked about this topic a few times now. Ritual attire, ritual garb. It's something that I think needs constant revisiting. There's a lot of trappings for people to wear fantasy wear. I hate looking into the screen at my stash. That annoys the shit out of me. You see this fantasy wear, this fantasy medieval Ren Fair. That's what it is. Have you ever been to a Ren Fest? And you see, like, you know, the gothic fairy steampunk slash Ren Fest person? Yeah, they're super hot. They're great to drool over. Like, I'm going to take her back to my tent. But does that fit into your ritual? You know what I'm saying? Fuck's sake. Does the piratey type of bellowy shirt mixed with, you know, some sort of poofy pants, or, you know, it's fantasy renwear. It's not even medieval, like, accurate clothing, but it's fun. And you see that making its way into Wicca. You see it making its way in modern paganism. And when people from Wicca or paganism, different branches of that, start getting involved in things that are cultural, they don't really understand that by wearing something fantasy-based is inappropriate. You can go to a Celtic festival, of which we have a Celtic festival here in Western New York. I won't mention which one it is because, well, I'll make a video especially for them, and I think they're going to get a letter as well, because they've kind of crossed the line, but we'll deal with that in another video. Wearing something fantasy-based to a ritual, that's kind of inappropriate. But they don't know any better. I think videos like this should encourage them to look into the historical roots of whatever branch of paganism that they're celebrating. Now, I don't know about, like, you know, the different cultures, say, like, out of, like I mentioned, like Greece, or hell, even the Norse pagans, they probably suffer the same battle of having people wearing fantasy stuff, or I can see them being a lot more open-minded with some of it than how we are, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know enough real strict, serious Norse pagans that would give an opinion. So, if there is a really awesome, cool Norse pagan that's watching this, please, in those comments below, let me know how you guys deal with the fantasy renwear, or how you feel about people wearing something cultural. Like, maybe you guys have, like, the whole tunic thing as well. The different forms of jewelry. You guys, like, a lot of people wear, what is it, Mjolnir? Because I know that there's a lot of Viking reenactment as well. So I'm sure that you get people that are doing Viking reenactment that are also was it Heathens Asatru, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm not really sure. Yeah. But if you're taking the cultural approach, by all means, see it not as a costume. You're not getting dressed up. You're wearing something that's connected to your ancestors. Even if it's just a piece of jewelry, a simple piece of jewelry, or maybe you don't have the money for a full-on kilt, but you can get your family colors, your tartan. Maybe you're just going to get a fly plate, like, you know, just your brooch and the shoulder part. Maybe you're just going to wear just that. That's plenty enough stuff to just make you in your heart feel connected to your ancestors and honoring them, instead of going out and wearing something that's not connected to your people's traditions. Do I own robes? I have lots of robes. Do I want to wear them all the time? No. Have I worn them in the past? Yes. Do I like wearing them? Not really. For me, if I'm going to wear some type of robes, they're going to be basically a long tunic. So I just got inspiration for the next video, or one of the next videos. This video is way too long. Jesus, it's almost a fucking hour long. By the way, if you're still watching this and you commented donkey balls, you have no idea how that made my day. I laughed so hard, and it didn't make, like, you guys don't know, some days I go through some hard days, and they're pretty shitty. Like, yes, I have depression and this, that, and the other. I'm not going to get into all the details of my personal life with you guys. I'm not going to be a downer. But when I saw that you guys actually watched that full video and you posted donkey balls, you guys are all right. So, here is a sneak preview. Well, before I even wrap that up, I'll wrap this up and give you a sneak preview. Ritual attire. Closing thoughts. Is it important? No. Should you do it? That's up to you. It's up to your group. I would say, if you're doing something like Shinshrecht, try to incorporate as much of the culture as possible that you're comfortable with to begin with. Okay? And just take it from there. Don't feel the need to fall into the trappings of robes and modern paganism that they have with their tools and all their stuff. You don't really need it. If you want to get creative, give me a shout. I got lots of great ideas for getting creative with clothing, with garb. So, it's final. When we're talking about garb for now. Maybe we'll do another video on garb. We are, because it's going to be the next one. What do you mean? Earlier, is it that way earlier? Or is it that way earlier? When is earlier? Earlier in this video, I mentioned the topic of the brat, the cloak. Basically, a large blanket made of wool. Well, in woodcraft, bushcraft, survival, camping, even early in colonial America, the concept of the wool blanket has always been very important. Our people have been a blanket people since the beginning. And since the brought predates the great kilt by thousands of years, I'm going to do a video for you guys, my next video, which I might have to have somebody do for me. My wife might have to do it for me. I'm be moving the camera around. Anyway, I'm going to do a video on different ways you can wear and use a wool blanket as a cloak, as a sleep system, and it'll all be on the wool blanket. How to wear the wool blanket, all sorts of tips and tricks. And the only thing you really need, and you don't even really need it, is you need a blanket pin or a brooch, which I'll show you in the next video. My wife might have to do it, because I can't have my 9-year-old do it, because he'll end up filming his brother's butts or something. I don't know. So, you guys, this video is way too long. But I told you in video number 1, I'm going to stay real. I'm not editing. I'm not chopping out moments of silence. I'm not trying to fix words that I mispronounce. That's not me. That's not what it's like to be in this room and sit here and have a chat with me. So I'm keeping it real. And I hope you guys always keep it real too. You got something to say it. It's the way it is. So until the next time, be excellent to each other and party on, dude. Okay? I'm going to smoke this and do some reading. And try to get a little bit of sleep, because I suffer with that too. I'm so tired, but I can't sleep. Maybe I should go become a dendrophiliac. God, no. Right. So, donkey balls. We should start a secret society, and that will be our code word. We'll have secret handshakes and do silly things, and our code word will be donkey balls. It's a good idea. Well, slung the fool.